Apple is getting ready to drop something huge for your living room. And if you've been waiting for the perfect moment to upgrade your streaming setup, this is the video you don't want to skip. The 2026 Apple TV is coming, and this time it's not just a tiny refresh or a quiet spec bump. This could be the Apple TV that finally becomes the obvious choice for almost everyone, not just die-hard Apple fans in this video. I'm going to break down everything we know so far about the 2026 Apple TV. The rumored specs, the new chip, gaming performance, connectivity, smart home features, price, release date, and how it fits into Apple's bigger plan for the smart home. Watch till the end, because some of these details completely change how you should think about Apple TV and whether you should wait or buy right now. Let's start with the part Apple almost never talks about, but everyone notices first. The design. If you're hoping for a wild new look or some crazy transparent box sitting under your TV, don't hold your breath. Based on current leaks and Apple's own design history, the 2026 Apple TV is expected to keep that same minimal black box aesthetic we've seen for years. Same compact footprint, same clean lines, same disappears into your setup style, and honestly, that's not a bad thing. The current Apple TV already looks premium and modern, and once it's on your TV stand, you barely even notice it. It doesn't scream for attention like a gaming console. It just blends in and works. Apple knows this. They don't redesign hardware just for the sake of it, especially when the existing design already feels timeless. So if you're waiting for some crazy futuristic shape, that's probably not where Apple is focusing its energy. Because the real story with the 2026 Apple TV is not on the outside. It's what's happening on the inside. Right now, the latest Apple TV 4K runs on the A15 Bionic chip. That's already overkill for basic streaming. It makes the interface super smooth, apps open quickly, games run well, and everything feels instant. But the 2026 Apple TV? That's where things get seriously interesting. Rumors and reports suggest Apple is going to upgrade this thing with a much more powerful chip. Something in the range of the A17 Pro, the A18, or even an A19 class chip by the time it launches. If you're not deep into tech specs, let me translate what that means. The A17 Pro is the same chip that powers the iPhone 15 Pro. This isn't some low-end processor. It's a flagship mobile chip designed for high-end performance and advanced graphics. It supports hardware-accelerated ray tracing. That's the cutting-edge technology used in modern consoles and gaming. PCS to create ultra-realistic lighting, shadows, and reflections. Now picture this. Instead of just using your Apple TV for Netflix, Disney Plus, and YouTube, imagine loading up an Apple Arcade game on your big 4K TV, and it actually looks and feels like something you'd expect on a PlayStation or Xbox. Smooth frame rates, detailed textures, stunning lighting, not mobile game on a big screen, but real console-level visuals in your living room, powered by a tiny box. That's what this kind of chip could unlock. And remember, Apple is not just thinking about games. A more powerful chip means faster, more responsive navigation, smoother 4K HDR playback, potentially higher frame rates in the interface, faster app loading, and more headroom for future tvOS features. It also means better performance for AI-driven features, upscaling, voice processing with Siri, and anything Apple might add down the line like advanced recommendation engines or visual enhancements. The bottom line is this. The 2026 Apple TV is shaping up not just as a streaming box, but as a serious home entertainment computer. Small in size, big in capability, but performance is only half the story. Let's talk about something that matters just as much in 2026. Connectivity, streaming 4K HDR content, cloud gaming, smart home devices, multiple users in one home. All of that lives or dies based on how strong your connection is. And Apple seems to know that. The next-gen Apple TV is expected to come with Apple's custom wireless chip for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, similar to what they've been developing for other devices. we're looking at support for Wi-Fi 6E at a minimum, and possibly even Wi-Fi 7 depending on final timing and Apple's roadmap. What does that mean for you in real life? Wi-Fi 6E uses the 6 GHz band. That gives you higher bandwidth, less interference, and more consistent speeds, especially in crowded homes or apartments where everyone has phones, laptops, tablets, consoles, and smart devices fighting for Wi-Fi. You get more stable 4K, streaming, fewer buffering issues, and a better experience when multiple people are watching or gaming at the same time. If Wi-Fi 7 makes it into the 2026 Apple TV, that takes things to an even higher level with faster peak speeds and improved performance in busy networks. It's the kind of tech that helps future-proof your setup for years, especially as streaming services push higher byte rates, higher frame rates, and even 8K content down the road. On top of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.3 is also expected, which means better range, more stable connections, and lower latency for your wireless controllers, headphones, earbuds, and other accessories. If you like using AirPods with your Apple TV for private late-night watching, or if you connect multiple game controllers, this matters a lot more than people realize. Of course, Apple knows some people still prefer the absolutely rock-solid stability of a wire connection. So we're expecting Apple to continue offering at least two versions, a Wi-Fi only model and a Wi-Fi plus Ethernet model for those who want the most reliable, low-latency connection possible for high-quality 4K HDR streaming and cloud-based apps. So from a connectivity standpoint, the 2026 Apple TV is shaping up to be faster, more reliable, and way more future-ready than most cheap streaming sticks on the market. But here's the thing that most people still overlook. Apple TV is not just a streaming device. It's also a smart home brain. Right now, the Apple TV 4K already acts as a HomeKit hub, and it supports Thread and Matter, the new standards that let smart home devices from different brands work together more reliably. That means your Apple TV is already quietly acting as the control center for your lights, locks, thermostats, plugs, cameras, and sensors, whether you notice it or not. With the 2026 model and its more powerful chip and upgraded wireless hardware, that smart home role gets even more important. Imagine this. Instead of needing a separate smart home hub, a separate speaker, a separate controller, and a separate streaming box, your Apple TV becomes the central brain of everything in your house. You sit down on your couch, and from that one device you can stream your favorite shows and movies in 4K, HDR, control your entire smart home with Siri or the Home app on your TV, view live camera feeds on the big screen, check who's at the door without leaving the couch, adjust lights, temperature, and locks with your remote or your voice, automate routines like movie night, good morning, or I'm leaving. And with Thread and Matter, this doesn't just apply to Apple-only accessories. It works across a growing list of brands that support these open standards. The more devices you add, the more powerful and convenient that central Apple TV hub becomes. So if you've been thinking about building or upgrading your smart home, the 2026 Apple TV doesn't just give you a better streaming experience. It could be the best smart home hub for people already in or considering the Apple ecosystem. Now, let's address the big question that stops a lot of people from buying an Apple TV today. The price. There's no way around it. Apple TV has always been priced above Roku, Fire TV, and a lot of Android TV boxes. The current Apple TV 4K starts at around $129 for the 64GB Wi-Fi model. When you can grab a cheap streaming stick for $40, $60, Apple TV can feel like a luxury. But here's where things get really interesting. Well-known Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo has suggested that Apple is working on a more affordable Apple TV, and the 2026 model could finally be the one that seriously lowers the barrier to entry. We're talking about a possible price under $100. Think about what that would mean. If Apple can deliver a powerful next-generation chip, advanced connectivity, a top-tier streaming experience, tight integration with the iPhone and iPad, plus smart home hub features, all under $100 that completely changes the competitive landscape.